Good morning, and good morning. How are you? How was your weekend? What did you do? Did you have a lot of fun? I did. I went over to Foley, Alabama, and found actually a couple of little shops there that I like, little boutiques that were interesting places to be in. The people were interesting. They had things that they let you sample that were really good in terms of their foods. And I had something called liquid gold. Mm. Liquid gold is like a ranch type dip, but it was extremely hot, but I loved it. So my daughter and I, we got some and split it. I said, well, you can only have that much. I can have this much. But they had that one. And then they also had like a salsa that was it was mild. It had like a tomato base to it, and that was really good. And then they had a mushroom soup. So we kind of had a vegan day. Every once in a while, I try to have things that don't have a lot of meat or sugar. Now let me tell you, now I did have sugar. They have an old fashioned soda shop there that has, that it had ice cream, and they said they used to do hamburgers and all that, and they do, root beer floats and all that kind of stuff. So I did have one scoop of cherry vanilla ice cream. I remember I loved that when I was a little kid. So I had some cherry vanilla, but I got to be honest, the scoop was bigger than what I could really handle. So I kind of cut off the top to get down to the cone and more of the ice cream. So, and I even told him to take half down from what he was originally giving me. So that'll tell you how much it was, but it was really, really good. So then we just kind of walked around and looked at all of the different kind of what I would say local fare that they had. Beautiful flowers and scenery and stuff. So that was fun. I had a good time, but it also let me take notice of a couple of things. One, how well certain people live in terms of their opulence, in terms of their resources, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I was just intrigued at you know Rich, and then I think I heard a couple of news stories over the weekend that were talking about people who have it extremely well to live, and they and Forbes had actually, and because I couldn't find it anywhere, it was like a news story, but I couldn't find it anywhere, so I went to Forbes, um, who lists everything that you could ever imagine. So they listed all of these people that were worth billions and billions of dollars. And they said even last year there were many people who were increasing their actual net worth to well over $1 million. And but it was like I was getting ready for church, so I didn't really listen to all of it, but I couldn't find it this morning and fast enough. But I thought I would let you know that the average American is not in the billionaire category or even the millionaire category. But it says the number one person in the world with that kind of money is Elon Musk at $251 billion. Can you imagine having that much money? I can't. And I believe that if I ever had that kind of money, I would be a philanthropist. I would give it away. I would give a lot of money away and help other people who are, not as fortunate, not as fortunate. But they also have Jeff Bezos, who's Amazon, Larry Ellison, 158 billion, Jeff Bezos, 161 billion, and Warren Buffett, who's like I think in his 90s, 121 billion dollars. Bill Gates dropped down to 111 billion. So it just lets you know Mark Zuckerberg is only number 8 now at 106 billion. But the point I'm making is that there's such a divide. I think our country and probably many other countries have people who, where the rich have become richer, And those of us like ourselves, we make a living by working. Now, I'm not saying that these people haven't worked, or that, but many of them, they were given money, and so it was passed down, passed along. And so it's always interesting to me to talk about what the rich um, do with their money. Um, I wish I were rich to give it away, but I'm not. I'm not. But I always think about the fact that even at the little money that I do make, I still am a giver. I still am a server. I still am a person willing to see people make it any way that they possibly can. And I periodically, I think this is my second time doing this word. It may even be my third time, only because I get that attitude almost like when I hear it on television, or I read an article that's pretty much saying that there's such a divide between the haves and the have-nots. And so I really look at life as saying, well, I would just love to be able to do more, but that wasn't what my calling has been. It's give as much as you can. That's the calling I'm on, and that's probably what I'm most comfortable with, because that's all I know. So what is rich? And I'll ask people, are you stuck on thinking that you're going to become rich? I didn't ask it like that this morning. I asked you, are you rich? And most of us must look to other areas of our lives to become rich. We have to be maybe rich in laughter, rich in friendships, rich in love, rich, but our rich has to probably change, because it's not the financial rich that I'm speaking of today. But I always like people to look and examine about their own thankfulness, their own understanding of what it is and where they are. Um, I don't aspire to be rich, never have. I don't know that field. I don't know that field. And I've never really dreamt or dreamed that I would be rich. I've always wanted to be comfortable, and I am comfortable. I'm comfortable with what I was given. So when I talk about rich, it says having a great deal of money or assets, wealthy. It says having goods and property and money in abundance, wealthy. It says it again, well off, well to do, prosperous, cash. And it says cash and rich again, cash rich. Um, it says minted, rolling in money, deep pockets, and filthy rich. And the thing is that I think I have shallow pockets, but I still give. I can't go deep, but I can go something. And I've been able to assist in our area with some of the things. Like, that's one of the reasons why I joined Rotary, is because I can serve. And Rotary is service above self, meaning that you're not looking at what you have, you're looking at what other people can use or need by, understanding their stories, their plights, their situations. And that's what we do. When I break the word down today, and I start with the R, and the R of rich is going to be our resources. What resources do we have? And it says, when you look at the standard word of resources in Merriam-Webster, Oxford dictionaries, it talks about a stock or supply of money and materials. Sometimes it's even staff and other assets that can be drawn on by a person or organization in order to function efficiently. Now, many of us function efficiently, and we don't have, rich, resources. All we have is what we have, but we have to know how to take what we have, use it appropriately, and not fall short. Now, when they talk about rich, there's always the other side of rich, which is extremely poor. And it was talking about in terms of the state of, let me see, I put it on my phone this morning, and said, like, in the state of Florida. I mean, in the area of the world that we live in, it really speaks to, well, wow, who lives like that. And it says that they're looking at, trying to get this off my phone. Hold on one sec. Um, when we look at, okay, it says according to the World Bank, 659 million people live in extreme poverty. And that was as of March of last year, which is 8.5 of the world's population. That's something to think about, you know. And then it says in America, it says how many people are living near the poverty line. It says the Census Bureau, and you know, the Census Bureau is kind of slow. So this one's only dating back to what they calculated as of 2021. 11.6% Americans, roughly, which is roughly 38 million people, lived at or below the poverty level in the United States. So, you know, you just think, and that came from the usafacts.org website. So, you know, I'm just saying that sometimes we have to look at not thinking about rich in the sense that they present it every day through the TV, through the things that we can't afford to buy, through the, you know, just the social media. It tells you, you know, these people are able to do huge things, big things, giving themselves great clout and a platform. But sometimes we have to think that what they're doing, it may be good, it may not be good, depending on who you are. But we must look at what do we have in terms of our own resources. So, you know, we have to still be mindful of the fact that if we only have so much money, we have to make it take care of what it is that needs to be taken care of. So we look at our assets and our funds and our wealth, our own capital, and we don't even realize that some of us probably do have something based on if we have a home and we have a car and all those things. If they were ever to be liquidated, you know, especially if you know, the misfortune of leaving this life, somebody would have access to your things, and therefore they would look at them as being your resources, and they would say, wow, you know, they did pretty well for themselves. Or, you know, my mother used to always say that people were worth more dead than alive. That's really something, isn't it? Worth more dead than alive. But when we move on in our word of rich, we talk about the I being independent. How many of us can be independent, free of not worrying about whatever there is out there, that we are still able to withstand whatever's coming our way financially? It says we're free from the outside control, not depending on another's authority. Sometimes money is that, it becomes the authority. It says, you know, independence is being individualistic. And if you have money, sometimes you can be your own maverick. You can buy what you want to buy, go where you want to go, and stay where you want to stay. But not everybody has that free will. Independence talks about being liberated, and all of us want to be liberated from you know, whatever it is that would be oppressing us in terms of what we can't buy. But, you know, I am a person, I stay in my lane. What I can't afford, I don't buy. You know, I don't want to be indebted forever. You know, I'm hoping one day that I would not owe anything to anyone. And I know the Bible does talk about that. Oh, you know, don't owe no one nothing, except maybe a smile, handshake every now and then. When we move on in the word, it talks about the sea of rich being comfortable. How comfortable are we? I'm comfortable, and I'm not worried about becoming that status of having all that money. I think money sometimes brings people worried about you or following you or bothering you in some instance. The phone rings all the time. I can't imagine people not being, you know, constantly requested to give something. I want to give because I want to give. I want to find the organizations. And I always said I wish that if the Lord had ever given me money, that I would use it wisely to give to others, you know. And so if I ever get that, you know, y'all don't bother me. I'll just do it. Don't come to me. Don't come to me. Let me come on out and find you. So anyway, being comfortable, it says, you know, especially with where we live, what we have to eat, what we drive, the clothes we wear. All that is comfort. All that. So all of us have comfort, have some comfort to a certain level. And it says providing physical ease and relaxation. I want to be comfortable in where I live. I want to be comfortable in what I'm doing. And so I look at that. It says also as significant as needed. Um, and it says, we can be cozy and snug and warm and enjoyable and agreeable. All those are comfort levels, you know. But if I'm chasing, something that I didn't earn, but I have, well, that would be okay. But I wouldn't like it. I don't want to chase anything. I don't want to chase after money. I don't want to chase after people with money. I just want to be comfortable in my life. And the last one says, with rich is what do you have? And even though this sounds, this sounds like I'm always talking about rich. No, I'm trying to get people to understand that richness isn't in the money. It's and we're constantly inundated with news stories and as I said, social media and everything, just because rich makes headlines. Being rich makes headlines. But the persons that are just, they see somebody on the street, the Good Samaritan, giving someone a couple of dollars or buying someone groceries, or someone's behind you in line in an area, and you say, pay for their food. I'm going to pay for their food. And I've done those things. I've done them. Or people are short of money. I've done them, and I love to do it. I don't brag about it. I don't even say what their names are or anything. It's just I don't even know them most of the time. It is. Sometimes to have is to give something away. Then you have peace. Then you have joy. Then you have understanding about who you are, and your own kindness is your own kindness. So it says to have is possess, own, or hold. And sometimes what you possess, hold, or own, you may even have too much of it. In fact, I was just looking up this morning where they have an opportunity for you to throw away, and then I take stuff to Goodwill, give away, and then I'm going to also have another garage sale. I just have to get the weather where people will come out, because it's been either too hot lately or too rainy. So I'm going to try to work on doing that within the next few weeks, maybe August, if I can, but it's hot all the way to October. So I don't know. I did it last year and did really well. So I want to do it again. And then I can diversify what I have, understand what it is I need to still get rid of, but I'm going to enjoy the process. So to have is to maintain, and that's what I hope to do. Maintain my space, maintain my life, utilize what it is that I have, and not let too much stuff occupy where I am. It says count among one's own possessions, which is what we have. That's what it does. We look at ourselves as needing needing stuff, and sometimes we need, sometimes others need more than they have. And in those instances, you can depart with something. You can let it go. And I hope that you will. So anyway, I just wanted to speak a little bit about this because I don't know. It just seems like every day I go on TV, and yesterday morning was just one of those mornings I said, wow, I need to bring that up again. Our richness is not how much money I have. Our richness is also what we're getting, just living life, doing the little things for people. If we get paid for something, that's wonderful. It's wonderful. But if we don't, the richness may be in the experience. That's where rich comes from and comes to, for me. It may not be for you, because I know that some people have to say, if you're not paying me, I'm not talking to you. If you're not paying me, I don't want to be a part of something that works for some. But I'm just going to put it this way. I feel I'm blessed in that I'm able to do as much as I can for others when possible. That's the best way to say it. That's the best way to say it. But listen, I want you to have a wonderful day. I'll be back on Wednesday. Friday, I'm going to do something on Juneteenth. I know I should do it the following Monday, but I already have a commitment for that Monday. So I'm going to try to do it this coming Friday before a lot of the Juneteenth celebrations start. So I hope you all tune in for that. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. If you don't do anything else, you don't have to pay to come up in here. Nothing. But if you would just hit that button and let it be shared. And I know a lot of people watch later on. So watch it. Hopefully you can still make some comments. I will respond. Have a wonderful day. I thank you so much. Bye-bye.